Hello, friends. Long time no see. My name is Audrey Gerhard. Welcome back. If you saw my first episode a month and a half ago, welcome if you are new. This is episode 2 of the Knits and Pieces podcast. So if you did see my first episode almost 2 months ago now, I apologize. My goal, I said then, and is still to be pretty consistent, posting every 2 weeks. Obviously that hasn't happened. Life has been crazy. My husband and I had some internet issues. We didn't have internet for a while, which made the whole process of filming an upload make me want to pull my hair out. And I filmed an episode 2, and then in the process of uploading, I tried, it wasn't working. And I decided I needed to wait until we had a little bit better internet and I had a little bit more time on my hands. There were just a lot of things going on. And so the time has finally come. We have great internet now. We switched service providers, and obviously with being quarantined, I have a lot of time on my hands right now. So my goal is to have a new episode for you every 2 weeks. While we are still quarantined, I might post an episode every single week. We'll kind of see. Usually though, in my typical life, 1 week, I would not have enough new content to share with you. I would not knit enough things to justify posting weekly podcast episodes. So we'll kind of see how it goes. I am not going to show you every single thing that I've worked on in the past 2 months today. If you follow me on Instagram, number 1, you've already seen it all because it's all posted over there. And if you don't, you can go check out my Instagram to see. And then number 2, I just don't keep track. And so even if I tried to show you everything, I would probably forget things, and then we'd be here for 2 hours and it would just be me showing finished object after finished object. So I have pulled a couple of the things that I finished most recently and been getting a lot of use out of, and then I'm going to show you my current whips, and then I would also like to include a segment at the end of these episodes for future plans, so things that I'm planning on casting on next, or acquisitions. And I don't have any acquisitions to share with you in this episode, but I've been doing a little bit of stress shopping, and so if things start getting here, I will have acquisitions to show you next time. So stay tuned for that because I'm really, really excited about a few things that I just ordered. So I think that takes care of all of our housekeeping type stuff at the beginning. Like I said, my name's Audrey. I live in the Chicagoland area of Illinois with my husband, and he is a teacher by day, and they just announced that all of our schools are closed for the rest of the school year, which is different, and it's harder for some people than others. My husband and I are doing fairly well with all of this, but I know a lot of people who aren't. So, yeah, we're all just doing the best that we can. We are still under a shelter in place in Illinois, and I was actually sick a couple of weeks ago, so my husband and I have been really strictly quarantined in case what I had was COVID. Thankfully, I am feeling better, so I'm able to go back to work a couple of days next week, since the place where I work, I'll be working in the warehouse, not the store. So number 1, there's very, very few people there because we're a smaller operation. And number 2, we are able to practice social distancing and stay, away from each other. We aren't crowded all on top of each other all the time. So I'm excited to be able to get out of the house a little bit, because we are trying to observe the shelter in place order as rigidly as possible. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I am trying to limit my news and media exposure for my mental state, and so I hope that talking about knitting a little bit today can maybe give you a little bit of a break and something else to focus on. So yeah, grab your whip or your coffee. I've got a little bit from my morning coffee left over. And let's chat about some knitting. So I'm gonna start at the top of every episode with finished objects. And today I would like to show off what I'm wearing. This is my Love Note sweater. If you haven't seen this sweater before, which is highly unlikely because it's been everywhere, this is designed by Tin Can Knits. It is on Ravelry, and it is a top-down lace sweater, it is kind of a blend between a yoke and then there's a few raglan increases that kind of go into your armpit. So that was an interesting construction. Originally, this sweater was designed to use mohair and fingering weight yarn held double. I did not do that. I used a DK weight yarn, excuse me while I grab it. This yarn, I have a whole skein left over. This yarn is from Samila Melange. It is 100% organic wool, non-superwash wool. So it has a little bit of a fuzzy, I don't know how much you can see it, but it has a little bit of a fuzzy halo, which kind of mimics that effect that you get from holding mohair with fingering weights. And this is in the light gray colorway. And I really like this. It's a very light, easy, neutral. It is very cropped. I can stand up a little bit to show you. So like it comes to like my belly button essentially, which is much more cropped than any other sweater that I've knit or any other sweater that I own. But as you can probably tell, I'm wearing a black tank top dress underneath, and that's really what I wanted this for. I wanted to wear it over summer dresses, either for like cooler spring days or cooler summer evenings. I just wanted a light and easy pullover. So I knit it exactly to pattern, which is extremely cropped and 3/4 length sleeves. And I actually already have plans for another one. One of the things that I ordered that I'm hoping to have to show you next week is an alpaca Surrey, or a Surrey alpaca yarn from Woolberry Fiber Co. They are one of my favorite indie dyers, and I ordered the Surrey alpaca. I'm planning on grabbing some fingering weight yarn from my local yarn store when I get a chance. And then I will probably make another one that is the fingering and Surrey held double. And I will probably make it a little bit longer, but I also like the idea of having one with short sleeves. So, yeah, that speaks to how much I love this pattern. It's super, super simple. You do a provisional cast on right here and then you knit down, and it really allows you to kind of, when you pick up and knit, you know, the top few inches, it allows you to really play with the kind of fit that you want. So I knit to pattern and then tried it on, and this top was really tight, and so I unpicked it, knit it again with a few less decreases, and I really, really like how it finished. I really like the finished product. The yarn, even though it is not superwash, is super, super soft after blocking, and I'm definitely going to get a lot of wear out of this. I am a fairly inexperienced lace knitter. I have not done a lot with lace. If that is you, I highly recommend using stitch markers. The lace pattern is like a repeat, and then you repeat the same, like, I think it's like 20 stitches or something around. I used stitch markers to kind of keep track of where I was, and I had no issues knitting the lace. It was very, very easy to follow. If I remember, the pattern includes both written and charted instructions, so that's also super helpful if you're more comfortable with one or the other. So yeah, I mean, tin can knits are super popular. I'm sure you've used their patterns before. If you haven't, highly recommend. They have free patterns. This one is not free, it is paid, but it is definitely well worth it. I love it enough that I'm planning on making a second, which doesn't happen often for me. So yeah, that just speaks to how much I love this pattern. The other finished object that I wanted to show you is a pair of socks. I have been on a sock kick lately, which I'm very excited about. I have 2 pairs of finished socks ever, and then I have 2 more on the needles, and I'm finally loving it. When I first tried socks, I didn't think I was gonna be a sock knitter, and then I've just, you know, taken breaks. I played around with different patterns, and I'm finally finding some styles that I love. So this sock is the DK Simple Shorty sock by Woolfield Studio. Maybe she's Hello Woolfield. No, she's Woolfield Studio on Instagram. This is a fairly popular pattern, I believe. I don't remember if it is free or paid, but either way, it's worth it. It comes in 3 sizes. I knit the medium size, I knit it pretty much to pattern. I think the only thing that I changed is the length of the cuff. I think there were a few more rounds that should have been ribbing, and I did a couple of rounds of just plain knitting before I went into the heel. So I think that's the only thing I changed. The yarn that I used, which this lighting is not really giving you a true picture of this yarn. It's this really pretty lavender purple with specks of like a bright gold and green. This is by Explorer Knits and Fibers. And it is her Rockies DK base in her Zion National Park colorway. I ordered this a while ago. I don't believe she has any in her shop at the moment. Actually, she just finished a pre-order, so she might not have anything in her shop at the moment because her stuff sells out like that. So I'm really excited to have been able to work with this yarn, and I absolutely love the way it came out. I have a completed pair, I just didn't put the other one on a blocker. So yeah, these blockers, by the way, are from Knit Picks. They're fine, they get the job done. They're on the cheaper side, they're acrylic or plastic, and I really would like a set. So these are obviously only one size. I really would like a set of wooden ones that are adjustable. That's definitely on my wish list. But for right now, these are my size. And so if I'm just knitting socks for myself, or my husband, honestly, because we have really similar sized feet, these work. But I would like to be able to knit socks for friends and family. And so eventually I would like to invest in some wooden adjustable blockers. But these are fine for the moment. I believe I got mine off Amazon. So you can probably find this or a similar set on Amazon. So that's that. That's all the finished objects I'm going to show you today. Obviously I have more since it's been a month, or almost 2 months. But those are the two that I finished most recently, and I've been wearing both of them a lot. And so those are the two most relevant, I guess, if that's the word you want to use. Usually when I'm on a regular schedule, I will be showing you pretty much everything. But yeah, let's move into some works in progress. So I am not a monogamous knitter by any stretch of the imagination. I usually have 3 to 4 whips on the go at any time. I do have a basket of languishing whips, which is things that I started and just didn't want to continue, and I don't really like to do that, but I'm kind of giving myself grace right now, and I want knitting to be a fun experience. It is more or less a hobby for me. I do publish patterns, but I don't really depend on that income, and I don't really like putting a lot of harsh deadlines on myself. So more recently, if I have picked up a project and then not had the desire to finish it, I've let myself just kind of put it down. And eventually from time to time, I plan to go through that basket, you know, finish a few things. If there's something that I'm like, not really feeling it, unravel it, you know, use it for something else. So yeah, I'm going to show you my 3 active works in progress at the moment though. The first one is another sweater. This will be the 7th sweater that I have ever made, and it is the Weekender sweater by Andrea Mowry, which again is a really, really popular pattern. I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with it. She designed it using Brooklyn Tweed yarns on their Shelter, which is their worsted weight base, and I am in love with that yarn. So I actually wanted to use this yarn, and I was looking for a pattern to go with the yarn, and somebody recommended this, and I am really excited to have this finished sweater. It is meant to be an oversized sort of boxy sweater. Brooklyn Tweed yarns is non-superwash, and it's very structured, so the drape, I'm interested to see what the drape will be like. You actually knit this sweater inside out. So this is the knit side. This is the side, obviously she doesn't have you purl through the whole pattern, which is wonderful because I could not do it. But then the sweater will be worn inside out. Oops, my yarn is hanging off here. It will be worn with the wrong side facing, so the purl side facing, and then it's not showing up on camera, but there's this there, that's a little bit better. There's this line of slipped stitches up the front and up the back. It has a split hem detail, which none of my other sweaters have, so I think that's super fun. The back hem is about a ½ inch longer than the front hem. Obviously it's knit from the bottom up, so you knit the hem first and then you join the two sides together. And I have 4 inches left to go on the body before I separate for the front and back panels. So it's just plain knitting, which has been great recently. Honestly, when I need a mindless project, this is what I reach for. Because it's so heavy, it's a worsted weight sweater and it's meant to be kind of oversized and warm, I'm not really rushing to finish it because we're going into summer here. So I will definitely have this done by next fall, but this is one that I'm doing a few stitches and a few rows here and there, but it hasn't really been my main work in progress. It's just what I reach for when I need a little bit of mindless knitting, and that's been really fun to have on hand. Like I said, I really love this Brooklyn Tweed yarn. This is in the colorway Newsprint. Their yarn is a woolen spun, so it's super light and fluffy, and it just blocks. It like blooms and grows when it blocks. It's a non-superwash wool, and it's just amazing, and it's 100% USA sourced. So American sourced sheep and wool, and it's wonderful yarn. Highly recommend you try some. So that is all I have to say about that. I believe the next work in progress that I wanted to show you is the other pair of socks. So this is the only pair of socks I have on my needles, but as you'll see when we get to future plans, I have plans for several more pairs because I'm really feeling socks lately. So I have one finished. This is the autumnal socks by Snickerdoodle Knits. Her name is Jessica, but she's Snickerdoodle Knits on Instagram and Ravelry, and I'm actually test knitting these for her. And I am really loving this pattern, and the reason is this is one of the most versatile patterns ever. She has instructions for a typical wedge toe or a rounded toe, which I'll show you. This is my second sock, so you can see I did the rounded toe, so it's much more rounded. A traditional toe, a sock toe, is squared, so you would have like here and here, and then it would be like a straight line. But this is the rounded toe, which I'm really loving. She has instructions for 2 different types of heels. I did a short row heel, but she also includes instructions for an afterthought heel in the pattern. And then I'm doing the shorty version, but she also has instructions for a full length sock that has another really cool slipped stitch motif up the side. So this, obviously, since it's a shorty, I didn't incorporate that, but it does have this really cool, like, they're not cables. I thought they were cables originally, but they're not. And if you open it up, you can see there's some yarn overs in there, and they're meant to look like little leaves, kind of, because they're the autumnal socks. So they're meant to look like little leaves, and then the slipped stitches, if you knit the full size, are meant to be trees. So these socks are really amazing. I really love this pattern. I'm thinking they're gonna be a little too big for me. But if they are, I will give them to my sister because her feet are bigger than mine. And I will have enough of this yarn left over since they're shorties that I could make myself another pair. So I'm really not concerned. I'm still kind of finding my stride as a sock knitter, so I haven't perfected the art of knitting socks exactly to my size. So I may knit another pair after I complete the test knit, but I want to stick with the size that I told her I would test. So that's what I'm doing, and it's really not a big deal. Pink is my sister's favorite color, which, speaking of colors, this yarn is from, I believe her name is Kelly. She's the Red Pansy on Instagram, and this is a sock set that I purchased from her last fall, so I don't know if she still carries this colorway, but it was her Jane Austen inspired collection. This is the Eleanor Dashwood colorway. Really, really beautiful. It's got a lot of pinks in it, but it's also got, if I show you the other side, you can really see purples, which when the skein came, she winds skeins for free, complimentarily. I don't think that's a word. And so the skein looks very, very pink, or the cake rather, it looks very, very pink. And when I started knitting, I really realized how much purple there was in it, which is kind of a fun surprise. Not mad about it at all. Purple's my favorite color. But yeah, that was kind of cool because I didn't realize from the cake how much purple there was. And I don't know what the little, like I said, it was a sock set, and the set was called Eleanor Dashwood. So I don't think this color that I'm using for heels, toes, and cuffs has a name, but it came with the larger skein. So yeah, I have one sock finished. This is the left sock, and then the right sock will be a mirror image. So if I kind of hold it flat like this, you can see the leaves are on the left side, and then on the right sock, the leaves will be on the right side. So that's kind of cool. I'm working on the right sock right now, and these are going super fast because it's like a 24 row repeat to do that little leaf. And so like you just want to get to the next one. So they just kind of zip right off the needles super fast. Yeah, I am knitting these on a 2.25 millimeter needle, which I believe is what the pattern recommends. I think that's what I've knit all of my socks on so far. I have these, another pair in my languishing whips basket that I need to pull out and finish, and then a totally finished pair, which I think I showed in my first episode. I think they were a half finished object in my first episode, but they're finished now. I have both of them. So you can go check those out in my earlier episode. All right, so the last design that I'm going to show you a sneak peek of, this is exciting. I haven't shown it on Instagram yet. This is one of my designs. I am a newbie designer, so I have a handful of designs published on Ravelry. I'll have my Ravelry linked below. I will also have, in case I didn't say this, I'll have everything linked below. I'm not going to be fancy and try to put it all on the screen, but anything I talk about, from patterns to yarns, anything, I'll have it all linked below. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, okay, so I design patterns. I have a handful published on Ravelry. I've done a few collabs. I'm really still learning, still finding my stride as a designer. So this is my latest design. I haven't shown this anywhere else yet, so you're getting to see it. If you follow me on Instagram, I did show this yarn in a post, and that is because I am so in love with this yarn. This is from an indie dyer. Her name is Ellie. On Instagram, she is Alive with Purpose Craft or Alive with Purpose Yarn. I'm not sure which. But this is her glitter sock base. She has every base imaginable in her shop. And this was a limited edition colorway, so you can no longer purchase this exact colorway, but I love everything she dyes. She does a lot of these really fun, brightly colored ones. And this colorway is called White Hot, I believe. So it's got some white, it's got some deep blues, some teals, some pinks, some peaches. It's just beautiful, and it is a glitter base, which I'm not sure if that's showing up on camera or not. This cake is a little messy because I've obviously been knitting with it. But I wanted to design a fingering weights triangle shawl for summer, and I am trying something new. I've never seen this done before, and I don't know how well it's gonna work, but my idea was to knit this cable motif, which, if you can see, it's garter stitch on either edge, and then there's some cables in the middle, which are interspersed longer and then shorter twists. So it's kind of hard to see with the lighting and with me just holding it up like this. And then the idea is you'll pick up along one edge and you'll knit it from the top down. And I've knit a lot of triangle shawls. I've actually designed a couple of triangle shawls, but I've always done them from the bottom up, so you do them from the point up. But then those long rows at the end are so tedious, and I just have the hardest time getting through them. So I was trying to create something where you would do the long rows first, get them out of the way, and then each subsequent row would be shorter, so it would go faster and faster and faster as you get to the end. That was kind of my goal, because I'm lazy and I hate doing those long rows. So this is knit on really short rows, obviously, and you're knitting the whole length of the shawl. So I don't know how well this is gonna work. The cables are kind of folding, as you can see. I'm hoping some steam blocking will resolve that, but I'm just kind of playing around. This isn't a collab with her. I purchased this yarn by myself. I have collabed with her in the past, but I did purchase this yarn, and so I'm not on any sort of deadline or anything like that to get this done. So again, I'm just kind of working on it at my leisure, but as you can see, this is getting really long, and so I'm probably almost done with this part and ready to pick up stitches, which I figured out the texture that I'm going to use for the body of the shawl, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see this come to life. Yeah, so that's that. I haven't shown it anywhere else, so congrats for getting a first look, and for all I know, in 2 weeks I'm going to have ripped it out because it doesn't work the way that I want it to. But we'll see. We'll see if I can make it work. Okay, so those are my 3 most active works in progress. Now, I do already have future plans. Like I said, I have the Love Note planned, another one. And then I also have multiple other projects, but I've pulled out some yarn that I think is going to be the next 3 things that I'm going to cast on, and I'm very, very excited for all 3 of these. So first up, as soon as I finish the second autumnal sock, I'm going to cast on the Sprocket Socks, which is a pattern by Pip and Pin. I will have it linked below. It's got these like teeth almost that kind of come together. It looks like cogs, and so instead of just being stripes, it's like stripes with these little bars that kind of come down. Yeah, I don't have a picture, obviously, and I don't have a cast on yet, but if you click the link below, you'll be able to see what it kind of looks like. This is a striped pattern, so it was designed using some mini skeins. Now, I don't have a whole lot of mini skeins on hand, but I do have this one-of-a-kind sock set, again from the Red Pansy. I went kind of crazy last year, and I ordered like 3 or 4 sock sets from her that have just been sitting in my stash. So I'm finally getting around to using them because I love them all. They're beautiful colors. So this was a one-of-a-kind colorway. I don't know that it even had a name, and I am almost 100% positive you can't get it anymore. But she does have some really, really beautiful stuff in her shop. So I highly recommend you check her out anyways, even though I don't know that you can still purchase any of the colors that I'm showing you. So like I said, it was a one-of-a-kind. It didn't have a name. It's honestly kind of similar to the Eleanor Dashwood colorway that I just showed. The camera's kind of like muting it a little bit. If I go closer, will you get a better look? There, that's kind of a better look. It's these light pinks and purples with pops of like hot pink and oranges. And then there were 2 mini skeins that came with it. The first one was like this golden orange, and the second one was this hot pink, purple, fuchsia. As you can see, these are already unraveling. I don't know why that's happening. So they both kind of pull out colors that are speckled in the main color. So that's really pretty. And my plan, since I don't have enough minis to do the whole sock in minis, is to do like alternating stripes. So I'll do a stripe of this, and then a stripe of the pink, and then a stripe of this, and then a stripe of the yellow, and then a stripe of this, and alternate that way. So I'm really excited to see how these come out. I'm not great at color work, and this sock does involve some color work, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm hopefully going to be casting these on really soon because, like I said, those autumnal socks that I'm working on are going super fast, and as soon as I finish those, this is going to be my next cast on. I had my husband help me wind up the yarn the other night, and I really like this set. So that's that. 2 more projects that I'm already planning for. Jessica reached out to me, Snickerdoodle Knits, she designed the autumnal socks, reached out to me and asked if I would test one of her other patterns as well. She's having some issues with the sizing and wanted an extra tester for one of the sizes. And so since I already had the yarn in my stash, I said yes. And I am super excited to have found a use for this yarn. This is by Camp Fiber Yarns. It's on her MCN base, and I saw this yarn on her Instagram and like drooled over it for months before I finally purchased. I believe I believe she's based in Canada, so shipping to the US is kind of expensive, but she finally had a sale and I was like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna pull the trigger. So I ordered 2 skeins on MCN of the Mallard colorway. I absolutely love this color. It's these rich, deep, almost jewel toned greens and blacks, and it's just so beautiful. So this is going to be the Endless Woods cowl by Jessica from Snickerdoodle Knits. You can see that featured on her Instagram page. I don't think it's made its way to Ravelry yet since it's still in testing, but I'm very, very excited to cast on. And like I said, I've had these skeins in my stash for a while. They were so precious, I guess is the right word, because I dreamed about them for so long before I bought them that I kept feeling like there wasn't a project worthy. But yeah, I'm really excited to make this cowl. The cowl, again, I believe was originally designed for mohair and fingering held double, but I'm obviously going to be making it out of DK. So yeah, I'm really excited. Camp Fiber Yarns. If you are in Canada, especially, I highly recommend checking her out. I would definitely order her yarn a lot more frequently if shipping wasn't so high to get it to me. All right, the last future plan that I have that I might cast on very soon, like before I even finish things, because I'm so excited about it, is a pattern I just bought this morning. I bought the Nina socks, which are by Gabriella. Her Instagram is Gabriella Makes, and her shop is Hello Gabriella. In addition to designing patterns, she also sells like stitch markers and stickers and some other fun stuff. And the Nina collection at least features a shawl and socks, and she might have some other projects in the works using the same stitch motif. I'll have it linked below, and I really like the stitch pattern that she uses on the cuffs of the socks. And it's a worsted weight sock, so they just fly. I mean, the DK ones that I showed you earlier, I knit those crazy, crazy fast, and this is a worsted weight. So I started digging through my stash looking for something to make these socks out of, and I have a skein of worsted weight that I have been treasuring. It's again from Explore Knits and Fibers, which, like I said, her shop sells out crazy fast. So this is the only other skein that I've ever been able to get of hers, except I signed up for her National Park Club, which I'm super excited. When we get to acquisitions in a few weeks, I'll be able to show you. But yes, this is the second skein of hers that I have ever purchased, and this is in the colorway Sweater Weather. It is on her Carlsbad worsted base. It is these whites and grays with like pink and orange speckles. I feel like there's kind of a pink and orange theme throughout this episode that wasn't intentional. Apparently I'm like really feeling pink and orange or pink and gold. But this yarn is just so beautiful. The camera is not doing it justice. It's a 4-ply worsted weight, 100% superwash merino. That's something you can let me know in the comments. Actually, I'm really into DK and worsted socks, and I have plans for a pair of bulky socks as well. But if you've knit anything like that before, let me know what yarn you've used and how it's held up, because obviously sock yarn usually has some nylon in it to kind of give the socks some stretch, and then it also helps them be more long lasting. So I'm a little bit scared that I'm knitting all of these socks out of just plain superwash merino and they're gonna lose their shape or get holes really fast. So let me know what you're... Okay, I'm using my phone as a camera and it stops recording. I'm not really sure why that is, but I'll have to figure that out. Anyways, as best I can tell when it stopped, I was talking about this yarn from Explore Knits and Fibers and talking about making socks out of yarn that doesn't have nylon. So if you have any tips on that, or if you've had really good experiences, bad experiences, let me know. Or if you have found worsted or DK weight yarn that contains nylon, also let me know that, because I would definitely be interested in purchasing some of that. Okay, that pretty much wraps up this episode. The only other thing I was gonna let you guys know, a friend of mine and I are having a really informal DK weight sock knit along. It is going to be 6 months of DK weight socks. I'm using the National Park Club by Allie from Explore Knits and Fibers. I'm going to be getting a skein of DK weight yarn every month for the next 6 months. and that is what I'm going to turn into my DK weight socks. So if you would be interested in joining in, it would be a super informal knit along. I can open up some chatter threads on Ravelry, and my friend and I will alternate picking 3 and 3 DK weight sock patterns. And so if you have any input on patterns, or if you'd be interested in knitting one or multiple patterns along with us, let me know, because I can definitely kind of facilitate that. So yeah, I've just been on a really big sock kick, and I wanted some accountability and some people to talk with as I was knitting socks. All right, that kind of wraps everything up. That is all I have for you today. Like I said, everything that I can link will be linked down below in the description. So if you are interested in any of the yarns, patterns, designers, anything like that I've talked about here, check the description box below. Other than that, I'm not really planning on doing formal show notes. If that's something you would like, definitely request it in the comments, because I'd be open to it. For myself, I never read show notes from other podcasts that I watch. I always just check out the links if there's something that I want a link for. So if that is something that you use, let me know. If you have any requests for videos outside of podcasts, if you want to see like yarn storage or vlog type videos, anything like that, I'm definitely open to it. So yeah, drop a comment, hit like, subscribe if you want to see more. Like I said, hopefully there will not be another 2-month gap between episodes. But that's all I have for you guys today. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.